Morning all, welcome to our final morning in the Himalayas. I just thought I'd do a quick overview of the Royal Enfield Himalayan Scram 411 and just see what, from a layman's term, what we thought of this bike and how it performed for any of you who are thinking of buying or using this bike in the future, and with potentially a chorus of dogs in the background, but we shall see. Okay, so there it is in all its glory, the Royal Enfield Himalayan Scram 411. So, our views on this bike. Well, it was okay. Let's just deal with the very basics of it. The engine, for a start, as you can see, it's got a whopping great big bottom end on it. It'll probably last out of, well, it'll just last you forever. It's a solid great big lump that plods on. However, we found that riding this bike, first gear and second gear and third gear almost were the only gears you potentially really use. Even on switchbacks and hairpins, first gear was very long. It needs to be a lot shorter, and especially for off-roading it really needs to be a lot shorter and coming down gnarly, rocky, steep tracks. However, it's probably not built really for doing stuff like that. It's built for just getting you from A to B and getting you over rough terrain, which it's more than capable of. What we found was, though, that you coming into the hairpins and switchbacks, you get it down into second and it was just, there was nothing there to pull you out of the bend. You put it down into first and you were sometimes slipping the clutch at the same time just to keep the momentum and the speed up. When we were hacking along on the gravel tracks or on the tarmac, fourth and fifth were practically non-existent. Third pulled you forever, and quite safely, 100 plus kilometers per hour. On the gravel tracks, we didn't go over more than 100 kilometers per hour, which was pushing it anyway. And we were really just using second and having it topped out, and then just back it off and top it out again, and it seems to be a lot stronger riding it like that in second than it did putting it up into third, which then just made it too long and too unresponsive if you hit a bump or a gnarly or a little bit of a jump or anything like that. So that's it on the gearing and what have you. Also notice with the steering, if you did hit anything, certainly it's a bit of speed, so 80 kilometers or what have you on the rough tracks. Ideally this bike needs some form of steering damper. I got numerous speed wobbles at the front, which was a little bit off-putting at times, but you sort of got used to it. Our guide No, he had a major tank slapper. Unfortunately managed to recover it, but when you're coming over some of the jumps and some of the rocks that you weren't expecting, you suddenly hit them and the front end would just go all over the show. So that's something to bear in mind. Braking, front brakes were fine, rear brakes were fine. You could really slam them on the tarmac, and it did pull the bike back quite well. So quite happy with that. Rear suspension, well, you've probably seen one of the previous episodes, it really kicked up in the air. Don't get me wrong, it's comfortable. If you can travel along the road with this quite happily all day long, bouncing up and down, it's very comfortable and easy to ride. But if you start hitting gnarly stuff, the suspension just bounced the whole back end up in the air from left to right. So that was a little bit tricky at times, but actually it was quite fun. So there you go, it's not so bad. But generally the bike is good, robust, looks quite nice. Not for me, but it could be for other people. Great for plodding on, it will last you forever. You could probably tour around the world on one of these things as long as you don't try and go somewhere too tricky. So overall, generally a good, strong, solid bike. Not good, I wouldn't say, for green laning, but a good little bike to get you wherever you want to go. Solid and robust. There you go, the Royal Enfield Himalayan Scram 411.